think it could be good to have writers kind of own a product and go with it. And in the case of Doctor Who, with Russell T Davies, I think he really just didn't do it justice for the 15th Doctor. But that's my little opinion.
Yeah. As we go on this quick little caveat with Doctor Who, I felt like this season was uniquely different because they were trying to humanize the Doctor more than anything. Every episode, minus one, he cried. I cannot, for the life of me, count how many times I've seen Doctor Who cry in the previous decade and a half of seasons. So they're trying to do that. This was the first time that they showed Doctor Who in 3 episodes scared.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, this is them trying to take Doctor Who and kind of do that humanizing, because the human element has always been his companion. They're the ones that have always reeled him in and said, like, hi, I'm here, I could die.
Yeah.
And there was this kind of like standoffishness about how he looked at a problem and created a solution. Whereas this time he was more working directly with his companion to find answers and to find and seek solutions. And I think that he brings a great energy to the Doctor. Holy crap, does he? Like, his emotions project. But I feel like we need to get rid of the tears, because it's too much. Like, he cried about literally everything.
I know.
Music died, I cried. I mean, like, it was just
the reason why I didn't like it was they made him too human. He's an alien traveler.
Yeah.
So and all the other doctors, minus like Jodie Whittaker was a horrible doctor, I thought, as well. But like Capaldi, Baker, like they had that aloof, like, not like, it reminded me of Spock. He's not human, so it was very hard for him to understand human emotions and expressions and stuff. And I don't like what they did with the TARDIS this season. I thought it was horrible. I was so mad about it, but that's just me. But that was the only thing. Like, they did humanize him, but they humanized him way too much, because that's one of the unique things about him. And I think about it at the who was it? For the life of me, I want to say it was when David Tennant had to let her die, and he knew, like, there was no emotion from him because he's an alien. He learns a little bit, but he's an alien traveler with a time machine. And I think that's the one part I didn't like about this season at all. And the crying, that was like fucking just, oh my God, I don't care about the gay shit, or I don't care about any of that stuff.
No.
And some of the storylines were shitty. Like, someone would like, oh, come on, man. Like, but because
73 Yards was a great episode. And it was because it didn't include the Doctor. It was strictly Ruby. And I love the storytelling on that one. But going back to what you said, like, the fact that every time he's had a companion, he's basically lost them.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone.
Lost them in a horrible way.
Yeah.
And then leading into this one, Doctor Who brought back Dr. Donna Noble.
Yep.
And suddenly they're living their best life outside of it. Like, they couldn't let go of his character. Like,
well,
that was very disappointing. And then at the very end of this, as far as we know, Ruby just goes off on her own to go find her family.
Yeah, she's out of the series completely.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like we missed something that they're going to have to revisit, because it felt too clean.
Absolutely. Yeah. You go from point A to point B to point C to point, like, absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing I didn't like as a fan, I'm not left open to assumptions. I'm told everything scene by scene, versus the old Doctor Who's like, you had to like really like think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The other thing too,
that one had me like, what is going on? And
And I was really worried about it because they had the Christmas special out. David Tennant cameoed, and I had really high hopes for it. And then the ending that, he bursts. And like, I just like, come on, like, I don't care that. Again, I don't care who plays Doctor. I think again, that writer David Tennant, I think he had a point to prove on how he wants to write, versus, hey, the character and story, versus more of my personal beliefs and how I want stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that did a huge disservice to Doctor Who, because I watched all my deployments, dude. Like I binged that shit so much. Like, oh god, I mean, think about I remember like the first Doctor Who I got to see. I was a kid, man. I was such a kid. I think I was like 12 or 13. Was Peter Davison. I think he was like Doctor 4, 5, or 6 or something. And I was just so intrigued by it because it was space and alien and like it was really cool, you know what I mean? And I don't think you got this out of this last Doctor, Shidigawa, I think his name is, or
Yep.
yeah, but you don't get that. But yeah, I had to say that because when you said that, I was like, okay, I gotta throw that in there because that was the one thing they made
I
him
think
too human, you know?
Yeah, I think Doctor Who for the last couple of years, especially in the Capaldi area and the Jane, I would say right after Matt Smith stopped being the Doctor,
Yeah,
they started relying too much on CGI, too
no,
much on
absolutely,
animation.
yeah, because
Instead of telling a story using just relative props and getting
agree.
through, I feel like that's when it started going downhill because they're like, well, we can have him go against, space goblins. And it
No,
was like,
absolutely.
yeah. So
And the other thing, a wheelchair having rockets attached to it. Like I just fucking but anyway, all right, I digress. We'll go back.